Hi, this is Kentucky Governor Matt Bevin. I think you all are aware of the fact that my vision for Kentucky is that we become the center of excellence for engineering and manufacturing in America, bar none. There's a lot of things in the wind. People hear about huge automotive plants that are looking for a place. We hear a lot about aviation-related and defense-related companies looking for a place. Where are they going to go? Are they going to come to Kentucky, somewhere else? There's a lot of competition for these things. But all of these rotate around any place that has the ability to deliver from a manufacturing standpoint the things that these companies are looking for. In October, we are declaring this to be Manufacturing Month in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. These jobs are significant. 19% of our GDP, 1 out of every 6 private sector jobs, an average income of $57,000 for every single manufacturing job in the state. This is the backbone, the lifeblood. I want to take this opportunity to introduce you to 2 gentlemen who spearhead our effort here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. With me today is our Cabinet Secretary, Terry Gill. He oversees our Economic Development Cabinet, and his Executive Officer, Vivek Sarin. Both of these guys and myself, our previous jobs were all CEOs of manufacturing companies. So this is something that's near and dear to our heart as well. And I want people to know from each of you kind of your passion for this, why this matters, and talk to us a little bit about some of the things that are in the pipeline right now and that are coming now that you see, you get first glimpse even before me often about the companies that are interested in the kind of things that they're looking for.
Well, we've had tremendous success this year. In fact, if you look at how we've done this year compared to our historical high water mark, the high water mark up to this point was in 2015, where the state saw just over $5.2 billion in investment. And that was manufacturing investment, not exclusively, but that was the total amount of investment in the state. And just last week, we inched over $7 billion. And obviously, we have the rest of the year to go before we can tally the final number. But clearly, a huge part of that has been manufacturing growth. And a lot of it has to do with these dominant clusters that we have in the state. Automotive being a big one, aerospace another large one, and upstream metal fabrication or areas where the state dominates on a national basis.
Of that entire new investment that the Secretary just mentioned of over $7 billion, $2.2 billion of that is attributed to manufacturing. And what's really exciting about this particular growth in this segment, and you mentioned it earlier, is that for every job that's created, the average wage is $57,000 annually. And it's also known in manufacturing, and we have statistics that show that for every 100 jobs that we're creating in manufacturing, the ripple effect of that is another 170 in other sectors that are created. And that's impactful.
What are people looking for? I mean, there's a lot of talk, and we've talked to you all about the fact that like a Brady Industries comes and they spend $1.3 billion and they put in an aluminum mill, and that attracts other people who want to make things out of aluminum. But when people come to the Commonwealth of Kentucky, what is it that they are moved by? What is the kind of tipping point that encourages people to come to Kentucky versus many of the other great states in America?
Well, it's 2 big categories. One is confidence in the business climate. And I think that we've made huge strides this year, right to work legislation being a signature bit of legislation that's really helped to change the business climate. The second is confidence really in the workforce. And the Brady Industries is a great example of a company that really could have located in a number of different states. And they chose to locate in Kentucky because of that confidence in the workforce that they can attract. In fact, that's a company that is projected to, once they're operational, have around 600 jobs. And they've had just over, I think, almost 3,500 to 4,000 applications for those jobs, which is a good indication of surplus of really qualified workers.
Well, talk to me about your perspective specifically as well, also as a CEO of a manufacturing company, kind of your ability to communicate with people, the kind of things that you are able to bring specifically with your experience base.
Well, what's unique about our experience is the fact that we've walked the production floor before. We understand bill of materials, we understand production schedules, we understand just-in-time inventory systems, we understand all of the workforce issues, whether it be low-skilled or the attraction of high-skilled labor. We understand the importance of engineering new products and applying for patents and doing distinctive work in R&D so that companies and products are not commoditized. And so that, coupled with just a to Z experience in manufacturing, allows us to sit across the table from other manufacturing CEOs, whether their businesses be in Kentucky right now, or whether they be prospective clients, and really identify with what their needs are so that we can develop solutions rapidly.
One of the questions we often get from people out and about, I certainly get, I'm guessing that you do, is how do companies decide where they're going to go in Kentucky? We're out making the case for Kentucky. We talk about our logistical advantages, our hubs of UPS and DHL and Amazon. We talk about our workforce. We talk about our highways, our riverways, our roadways. They all come together right here in this magical little place called Kentucky. But there's different parts of Kentucky. There's east, west, north, south. When you have a company approach you, how does that conversation unfold? How is it that they ultimately decide, and what drives their decision making about where in the state they ultimately locate?
Well, most of these businesses have a very specific set of criteria for what they're looking for. And so that really drives what sites we take them to. Each one of those communities, north to south, east to west, has unique attributes and advantages we can market, and we do on a regular basis. But when a business comes to us, they have a very specific thesis for what it is that they're trying to accomplish. And so the specifications drive the locations we take them to. But no one community in the state owns manufacturing. Each one of these communities has a unique aspect to it that we think is very marketable and very appealing. But when businesses come to us, they clearly have a very specific set of specifications that we need to match.
And you know, businesses are also coming to us with their homework done, they know what they want, and their pace of making decisions is very quick. Therefore, one of the things that we are doing and aim to continue to work on with local communities is helping them to be ready for these projects, because no longer are companies taking a year to decide what they want to do. It's measured in months.
Yeah, no, in fact, we've seen that ourselves. We've sat down with people, and within a matter of a couple of months, they've been making billion-dollar decisions. And it's because they've done so much homework in advance. So, any other things that are worth noting as we talk about, the impact of manufacturing in the Commonwealth?
Well, what's unique is when you think about manufacturing today, too, for any company to be successful, they have to be able to go to market very fast and not be interrupted in their processes whatsoever. And one of the wonderful things about Kentucky is the fact that we are in this very special place in the heartland where, in today's news, you read about the hurricanes, the flooding, the droughts, other disruptions in cities,
recently,
earthquakes, forest fires. And, I think we tend to take it for granted, but the reality is, for those of us in economic development, these are very marketable qualities of this state, because for anyone who wants to make an additional investment or make a brand new investment, this state offers a location with very little interruption to their operation.
Yeah. And I think we've seen that even logistically as well. The reason it's not by accident that the UPSs and DHLs and Amazons have come here. It's our quality of workforce. It is our central location, but we don't get fogged out. We don't have forest fires blacking out our runways. There's a lot of things that just make it easy to work in Kentucky.
There's one other thing that I think many people don't appreciate is the opportunity for young people to enter into manufacturing. I know when I was coming through high school, there wasn't a lot of talk about entering manufacturing even after high school or after college. And I didn't necessarily grow up in manufacturing. I ended up buying a manufacturing company and running that for a number of years. And I know firsthand what sort of opportunity is available to young people, either coming out of high school or with an associate degree or four-year degree. And I think there is a sort of a archaic perception sometimes in the public about what is manufacturing. What are the opportunities, long-term career advancement? You'd mentioned the average salary is $57,000 for a manufacturing employee in the state, which is
and rising.
And rising, right? Yeah. Which is a nice wage in our part of the country. And so, what I would just encourage is for young people to be more curious about those opportunities, and for educators to think about and even visit manufacturing companies in their community, so they can see firsthand the level of technology. That's used today in manufacturing processes.
Someone in manufacturing is much more likely in today's day and age to be using some type of a laptop or iPad or some kind of a electronic device to do their job than they are a wrench or a hammer. That's just the nature. We've become a much more sophisticated and electronic day and age. And advanced manufacturing, additive manufacturing, 21st century manufacturing is very different. Even some of these companies we've just discussed, they're going to be creating 500, 600, 700 jobs with average wages of $70,000 plus to start. And so it's a different day and age. And you're right, it's not just young people that we want to check out manufacturing, it's their parents. Understand the difference. Go and look at a 21st century manufacturing firm. It will blow your mind. You'll think you're in some kind of a science lab in terms of the technology. And superintendents and principals and guidance counselors as well. This is not your father's manufacturing plant, to steal a line from the old Oldsmobile ad. But
no, and inherently inside each one of us is just this appetite to be creative and productive. And the reality is today, you can go get a credential very quickly, within a year or two, and be very marketable to a manufacturing company and out very fast in the workplace, making a living, earning a good salary, as opposed to necessarily going a 4-year track in college. Not that that's a bad thing, but going that route where today the average student is coming out across America with $30,000 in debt.
And may or may not be immediately be marketable for a job that exists. And we have now programs here in Kentucky where you can earn while you're learning. We want to help you succeed. Manufacturing has extraordinary upside potential in this state, and we are just excited by not only what it means now to our state at 19% of our GDP, but I'm very confident it will only continue to grow in the years ahead. Thank you guys for your time, and thanks for the work that you do. Last thing I'll ask you real quick, talk to me about your team. Talk to me about the people who are behind the scenes sometimes. When a company comes and they first reach out to us, who are some of the folks that are doing things to gather information?
Well, where do we begin? We have a great team.
Yeah, we would probably, we would forget somebody if we listed them all by name, but I will say that we have heard, in fact, we heard just this afternoon from a global leader in industry that we all would recognize, that they remarked just how remarkable our team was. Every contact point they had, whether it was a researcher or a business project manager, that they were just stunned by the professionalism and the responsiveness and the sense of urgency. So we are blessed with a fabulous team.
Do you love your job?
I do love my job.
Isn't it fun? I mean,
We're having
Kentucky
fun.
is right in the wheelhouse right now.
And that's remarkable about my job, and I think we talk about this a lot, is that when we talk to other business owners, CEOs, they're talking to someone that is as if they were in their own business, right? They're not talking to somebody who works in state government. They're talking to somebody who understands business. They understand risk. They understand the risk of, burdensome bureaucracies, which is why we wear these red pens. We understand the risk of moving too slowly. We understand the risk of the monetary risk. So we can appreciate the world they're in, which allows them to really size up the state in a way that I think is truly unique.
Well, and much like you, Governor, this is our first time to ever be in public service. So we're just brand new, less than 1 year for both of us in these roles as public servants. It's a new journey. But for 25, 26 years of our career, we've known nothing but working out in private industry, working in manufacturing. And, it's refreshing to be here serving the business community and being helpful to them.
It has been fun for me to work with you guys, to sit across the table, as you both have noted, from people who get that we get it, and to see the sense of energy and enthusiasm that comes from prospective investors in our state. I don't think it's accidental that we have $7+ billion already in the door this year, shattering our best year ever in terms of private capital investment. But you were telling me just earlier another $8 billion or so in the pipeline right now. And for those of you that are watching this, just recently we had occasion to sit down with a very significant potential investment, one that you might be able to hypothesize as to what it is. It's gotten a lot of publicity. This is one that's specific to manufacturing. And again, the very things we're talking about is what they're interested in. Whether they come here or not, we'll see. They're looking at other places, and there are other good places in America. But we mean it when we say that our vision is to become the center of excellence, is instinctively in people's minds for engineering and manufacturing. And we're confident that with the leadership provided in the Economic Development Cabinet, these two gentlemen leading the charge and a whole lot of other folks, the people in our Education and Workforce Development Cabinet, those in our Labor Cabinet, those in our Energy and Environment Cabinet, all of them at every turn working together, working well with one another. We are confident that we are going to accomplish this vision. We are confident that we're going to win more than our fair share of business. And I think it's fair to say that we're confident because we are Kentucky.